starting with AJ. Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 744 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by JD Raider, Ben Funky Askren, and so much to talk about today. So much great wrestling this weekend. But first, gotta start with some tough news, hard news. AJ Ferrari, involved in a car accident, was airlifted to Oklahoma University Medical Center. Fortunately, it sounds like the injuries are not life-threatening. We've got a post here from AJ Ferrari's dad. Some internal bleeding, some bad bruising. There's fluid in his lungs. That sounds medically like the biggest challenges that AJ's currently facing, but expected to make a recovery. But, man, it sounded like a very scary scene. The details around the accident, I think, are still coming. AJ was driving, apparently. The car looked bad. And obviously this is going to have an impact on his season, but very thankful that it's not more serious and that no one is going to lose their life out of this. But man, pretty scary stuff from out from Stillwater. He was coming back from a youth wrestling event in Cushing, Oklahoma. I mean, say what you want about AJ. If you follow this guy, he's at a youth tournament or a youth practice or a youth duel all the time. He's highly engaged with the wrestling community in that way. So, wish AJ and there was a runner he was with, Isai Rodriguez, who was also in the pack. It sounds like he had less. His injuries were not quite as serious. So, kind of a crazy thing. Wrestling's sort of fortunate that there's not a lot of this, right? There's not a lot of accidents, not a lot of situation and then it happens. You're like, man, how does this not happen more often, right? Like, it's just all these guys on the road all the time. But anyway, tough way to kind of start the show, but glad that AJ looks like he'll make a full recovery.
But will they make a full recovery in time to compete? Because the state of 197 after this weekend, quite shaken up.
Yeah, quite a segue there. And who knows if he'll be able to make it back in time. I mean, the fact that he has no broken bones has to help, but the amount of time he's going to be in the hospital, who knows, and just what that's going to do for his ability to recover. It's a question. And, you know, Big 10's less than two, or Big 12's less than 2 months away for AJ. Theoretically, he's 10-0. I don't know if he is one that could do the injury default, 2 injury defaults, and then come back and get a seed of some kind. I don't know if he would have met the threshold.
Probably, but you'd still have to weigh in for that. So if he's too injured,
sure, yeah. No question. That would be a factor. So who knows with that. But yeah, to JD's point, 197 certainly in flux. Max Dean, he was playing with fire in the against Brucky, but he won, and then he lost to Cam Caffey. But probably got to start with the beatdown that Penn State put on Michigan.
Now I'm gonna be Michigan homer because I know you're usually Penn State hater, so I'm gonna take that role today. I thought about the next day. Now it was bad. The score was bad, but it wasn't really that bad. If you think about 174, he had that body lock. He had a chance to win in the third period.
Yep.
184, one takedown. 197 overtime. One heavyweight, one takedown in the third period would have won the match likely. So
you owe me a public apology.
Public?
Oh,
public.
I apologize only in private, JD.
Wait, I can't remember what that public apology was for.
Well,
I said Kirk Fleet was on the same tier as Mason.
Nice work.
And
nice.
that.
He apparently is. Evidently.
Yeah. But I mean, when you look at it in that light, now Penn State usually saves these type of nights for March. Mm-hmm. They don't usually have these ones in type of things happening in January. But I mean, Michigan they were all right there to win the matches late, and they win those 4 matches. They win the duel, and that's even without their 41 and 49 pounders in. So I know that's a lot of ifs to happen, but they're that close.
So the counter is they won 2 matches, and in both matches you were not super excited about the result. I mean, Nick Soriano. In the first period, you're like, oh, he's gonna put it on. He gets to the leg right away. The takedown gets waved off, and then the first period ends scoreless. You're like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then he just grinds out a 2-1. What?
I disagree.
With
Can I disagree?
what? I said things that happened, so I don't know what
No.
you're disagreeing with.
Well, here's what I disagree with. While the match was it was 2-1, I think Hildebrandt's strategy was not to attack, because if you watch Nick wrestle, he's like 94% counterattacks.
Yes.
And he's very, very good there. And even getting you to like fake and then you bite and you kind of come into him and then he goes back into you type of stuff. And Hildebrandt just wasn't really taking any attacks. So while he wasn't close to score, while he didn't get beat down that much, he also wasn't really very close to scoring.
He for sure gave himself no opportunities to win, but he did keep it close in a way. You don't expect guys to be able to keep it this close with Soriano. I mean, listen. He had a close match with, I think, Jacob Moran of Indiana, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, you would have expected.
Soriano did, or
Hildebrandt. I still think there's cause for a little bit of concern that he could not take down Drew Hildebrandt. Guys,
I'm telling you, he is so heavily reliant on reattacks.
Okay, then Ben, that's a tremendous vulnerability that he can't take down.
It is,
Drew.
but it's not like we didn't know. I would have told you that before Friday.
No, Ben.
I mean, this is why he can never ever take down Dayton Fix.
Yeah, it's Dayton Fix.
Dayton Fix also can't take him
We're
down.
talking about Dayton Fix. This is a different sort of. He has not.
Plan.
Nick hasn't had the. We haven't seen Nick have this kind of difficulty generating offense in the past against. Drew is not Dayton. This is not Austin DeSanto. Okay, Drew is good. He's an All-American, but I do think. Listen, I think it's a concern.
Nick Soriano beat John Ernesti 3-2.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't recall that match. It was at CKLV, so I probably wasn't broadcast. But I mean, honestly,
broadcast.
You don't.
I think it was broadcast, Ben.
Oh, it was on Flow probably.
We've only done the event since 1902. Let's see.
Okay, 1902. I don't believe you've been around long, but anyways, next point. So we can go back and watch that match. It's on Flow. I bet Ernesti did not attack him, because if you don't attack Nick Soriano, it really limits his ability to attack you back.
I agree with all.
He had a 2-1 over Ronnie Bresser, which Ronnie Bresser was. I don't know. I guess he's pretty tough, but he's a one-time All-American. Drew Hildebrandt's likely going to be a two-time All-American.
Yes, I just think in the match, it's not just that he didn't score. It's not just that he didn't score. I thought in the second and third periods, it didn't look right. He did what he had to do to win. I don't think it was a good cut for him. I think it's uncomfortable. I thought in close matches I've seen him have, I thought it looked a little different to me.
Okay. I got two more. Tim Lambert 3-2 and Zach Fuentes 4-2.
Yes.
So I don't want to say this is completely unprecedented, and so the weight cut, I'll give you that one. But yeah, just like if you're, we'll say, a really good, right? You can't be a schlub and do this, but if you're really good and you wrestle Nick Soriano with a certain style, he is going to have a hard time putting up points on you. Now you're going to have probably no chance of beating him, but you're not going to get beat down that bad.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's not what's happening here, B, not super notable. But I just watched that match and thought there were broader concerns than just the fact that Hildebrandt wasn't engaging and Nick couldn't generate. And then their other win, Will Luan, not super inspiring victory there, but he got his hand raised. I just thought, I look at it the other way, like, man, they're close, these matches, but was that their opportunity to win those matches? And is it just going to get, normally Penn State widens the gap as the season gets on with their competitors, with the more opportunities they get.
Yeah. Well, have we seen a time in the past where Penn State has wrestled really well early, and then maybe had performed below that later. Because I couldn't think of a time, but maybe that is the case.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
They've had
usually
some.
they are peaking in March.
Yeah. I remember Michigan gave him a really tough duel. Man, maybe it was like 2-3 years ago. No, Pantaleo almost beat Nolf. It was a really competitive match.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of other times. No, I mean, when have they really just like destroyed a team they weren't supposed to destroy quite to this degree? I can't recall a beating like this that was on a team that. Listen, we did the preview and we're like, it's going to come down to this little thing, that little thing, and it ended up just not being.
All those little things went Penn State's way.
They did. And so, why don't we get into some more of the matches? So we talked about 25. We have sort of a different take, but maybe the same take, Ben and I.
I don't think it's too much cause for concern.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like, oh, Nick's not going to play, but I'm just thinking about Vito and Glory, right? And
I was already giving them a shot. I'm still giving them a shot, but saying Siriano's the favorite going in.
Yeah. Is he still the favorite over those guys?
You could argue, I mean, Vito beat him in freestyle.
Vito beat him.
I know Vito beat him, but a lot. I mean,
did you know Vito beat him?
Oh, we all saw. I was there.
It happened in freestyle though, so probably don't
Christian
want to
won't count it. No, count it.
Are they even on the same tier?
Listen. Oh, what are you? Are you acting like free? Listen, there's plenty of freestyle results that don't map to folk style results. 1 month before the Kirkfleet beat Mason Paris in freestyle, he was destroyed in folk style. He didn't get.
And I went back, rewatched that match. It was all takedowns, and then the fact that he was able to reverse it in a takedown battle like freestyle. That's why I said it should be taken into account and at least say that they're on the same tier. Not saying he's not the favorite, that they're on the same tier, and that I wouldn't be shocked.
I just wasn't ready to go there till I saw it after seeing Cassiope and Mason. And it's like, so now with Kirkfleet, let's just talk about this match because to me,
is he the favorite against Cassiope?
Absolutely he's the favorite against Cassiope. No one has beaten Mason Paris since the 2019-20 or wait. No one's beaten Mason Paris not named Gable Stevenson since his true freshman year. So the only guy that's beat him is Gable. Now he's like, this is notable. This is a real thing.
Notable.
This is a different Kirkfleet. Mason has been killing everyone this year. He's won all his matches by bonus points. And now he loses a takedown battle. Kirkfleet had all the answers, too. It looked like he was out-schemed a little bit here.
At the end, you got to be a little nervous. He gassed. Mason was not gassed.
Mason's not gassy. Kirkfleet was a little. What did you think so? I mean, he got the takedown in the third.
Yeah, but that's because he fell in perfectly when Mason faked.
Oh, I didn't really feel like Kirkfleet was that
I didn't think he gassed.
Like
I thought Starachi got tired.
Gas tanks.
Well, he didn't. Okay, gas was maybe an exaggeration, but he was definitely tired.
Well, yeah, if you wrestle hard for 7 minutes, you're going to get tired.
I know. He was clearly more tired than Mason.
Well, here's what I'll say.
This sounds like an Iowa guy talking to me. I'm not into it.
He hates the Hawkeyes, I think. So I have a different take.
But when you live in the state of Iowa, Christian, you get a little Dan Gable brainwashed that no matter what happens during the match, at the end of the match, that guy's more tired over there. You're going to get him next time. He's more tired.
So it did not present to me in a way where I was like, oh, Kirkfleet is feeling in a way that's negatively impacting his wrestling.
I agree. That's how I feel.
Starachi, it was. That last minute, he was really feeling it, and it was given massive more and more.
Kirkfleet's offensive output was clearly much different than the first 2 minutes.
But okay, wait, hold on. Here's the way I describe it, because I have these conversations frequently with my athletes. You can't do anything hard for 7 minutes. If I said do burpees for 7 minutes, at the end of 7 minutes, you're going to be moving slower in the beginning, or hang cleans, or anything else hard. Mm-hmm. And so in wrestling, it's more of like you versus them, right? So if your gas tank is 100 and theirs is 100, how much do you guys go down? Because if you stay at 50, but he's at 20, you're going to look like an all-star. You know what I'm saying? But if you're at 40 and he's at 60, you're going to be in trouble. So that's what it's all about. And there's obviously different ways to make there's efficiency, right? You can be efficient. You can get in better shape. There's ways to make those things move differently. But so Christian said it correctly. I didn't see a difference that was going to have an effect on the match, is how I felt.
Right. I mean, and the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is he got away no problem. Like,
Yes,
he put his
he
big
did, very
old
quickly.
bear paws on his hands, cleared, sealed off, and was away.
Yeah.
Hey, look at Kirk Fleet's hands. It looks like he's got a baseball glove on his hand. His hands are
He's
like
a bear.
it's like this. It's like two hands. So I thought a couple notable things in this match. One, the 2-on-1 I think was disruptive to Mason's hand fight. He was getting to that consistently. Two, Mason just kept stabbing and faking, and he didn't make the adjustments in the match at all. Like every time he was stabbing, he was just dropping in on that single, and he got 3 takedowns off of it. So I think for Mason, he's going to have a different sort of game plan for the next time in terms of his aggression, right?
You know what else I thought besides that, in addition to that, is that I don't think Kirkfoot hit a knee, or maybe one time he hit a knee, but there was a lot of high-level attacks, which is, if I were to say, how are you going to beat Gable Stevenson? Now, listen, I don't know that anyone's going to beat him.
We got to talk about it.
I don't know. I don't know that anyone's going to beat him, but if you're going to try to beat him, it's going to be high-level attacks.
I was just talking about this with someone else. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not predicting it, but it is a conversation that has to be had because Gable's closest match last year was against a severely limited Greg Kerfleet. This has to be acknowledged. The Greg Kerfleet we're seeing now is nothing like the guy we saw last year. These guys grew up together, wrestling together. They wrestled in high school. It was a 1-point match.
A close match in high school. Yep.
Now, what Gable is now is like nothing we've ever seen at this weight class. But the biggest threat to Gable is not Mason Paris. It's not Tony Cassiope, Colton Schultz. It is Greg Kerfleet.
Yes.
And the other
when
factor...
you're saying biggest threat, hold on. So let's classify this too. When you're saying biggest threat, we're not saying they have a 40% chance of beating them.
No.
But if one is a 1% chance, and another is a 2% chance, and another is a 3% chance, the 3% chance is still the biggest.
If they wrestle 10 times, could Greg get one?
I
10.
don't think so.
Really?
think so.
So it's not
Maybe
a 10% chance. So maybe 20. Does he have a 5% chance? Would he get one of those?
I gotta watch. I mean, if you go by what happened last year, no. But obviously, Kerfleet's a lot better, but so is Gable. So
Yes.
I'm gonna probably say it's more like a 1% chance.
1% chance, 1 in 100. All right, well, that's probably not even worth talking about if you think it's 1 in 100.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Okay, so there's other
Well,
factors.
I mean, I feel like what else we're talking about, Christian, is can anyone even keep it close with Gable? Like, because that would be impressive. If it's 6-4 and Gable wins, I'm like, wow, he did a great job.
Yes. I think that's realistic. I think it'll be a decision.
I do too.
Because Gable's not gonna. I mean, he doesn't really turn unless he puts you on your back from the feet. His closest match this year was Davison, a 13-4. It'll be a decision, I think.
Yeah.
It was 9-4. So he actually had a closer match against Mason last year at NCAAs. It was 8-4 against Mason, 9-4 against Greg. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're gonna have a game plan for him. They're gonna have 2 cracks at him, right? Likely 2 cracks. We'll see. Mason, Tony, they'll all have their say. But
you know what's so crazy is we're thinking that Cassiope, I believe, is undefeated against Greg, right?
Yes.
And he got destroyed so bad by Gable. And we're talking about Gable and Paris, and we're talking about Greg having a chance against Gable. It seems kind of off. I guess we'll see what Greg does to Tony this weekend and see, I guess we'll probably reevaluate after that.
Yes. I mean, it's another big test. I mean, Tony's a different test than Mason, because Mason leaves himself a lot more, because he's so aggressive, so offensive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He leaves himself open for a lot of things, whereas Cassiope's a little different. And now, I mean, I think Cassiope's eyes are going to be open from that performance too. It's like, all right, different. He's not going to be thinking, all right, this is the same Greg Kerfleet, right? So I think the heavyweight match was the biggest match of the duel, right? The most important, the one that really shifted things.
It's a lot of important ones
in the perception. Yeah, but like, listen, Brooks. I mean, what did we really learn there? It's going to be a one.
We knew it was going to be one takedown match.
We knew that was going to be that kind of a match. Starachi, Massa. Okay, that.
I actually didn't think that was going to be that close.
I didn't either. That was a surprise, and I was surprised to see. Well, one, Starachi I felt like was really aggressive and moving. He was so aggressive early and moving them all over. And then there's just that 1 minute mark of the third period after the escape. He really got tired in a way I don't think I'd seen Starachi get.
Now, and that body lock that Massa got in on, I think if he navigates that just a little bit differently, there's a chance he gets that takedown.
Yeah. So it seemed like. Well, one, he got to the lock, and Starachi was really kind of going backwards, but he couldn't get his hips in tight enough, it seemed.
Yeah, I mean, well, but we can. I don't know if we can play it or not, but this is just going off memory from Friday night. But Starachi's hand was kind of caught over the head, also. All right, we're gonna get it up. Let's see if we have it.
No, this is the takedown.
And then Massa just essentially drives. Straight in, as opposed to maybe taking an angle or pivoting or, maybe trying to get his hips in more. Obviously, it's going to be really difficult because, the other guy's not trying to let you do that. But yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I thought driving straight there probably was not the right answer.
Yeah, and was there a warning given in that moment? I think that would have been appropriate.
You mean a stall warning?
Mm-hmm.
They never call. We already talked about this. Is a good old Tiger lawyer Tyler McCormick talking about. And listen, now once he said it, I started paying attention. It is so annoying that there's so many guys who flee takedowns going out of bounds and they don't get stall warnings. And it's like that is the time of all times that they should be getting a stall warning.
Yeah, I mean we were talking this morning about. So we can slightly move to one thing and come back to Penn State, Michigan, but. This the Campbell NC State duel. Ed Scott has a guy on his back, and do we have that clip?
Yeah. He was in bounds.
So, no, his feet were the Campbell guy.
His knees were on the hardwood.
I love this because I can't stand, and we're gonna pull it in. I cannot stand this. Getting a foot, getting a toe, and I don't even think this guy just got thrown out of bounds. He's not trying to put his feet out, but I would have hated if they'd have stopped this pin because this guy got his feet on.
They have to.
I don't think you have to.
But at the same time, if
yes,
you
do. That's out of bounds.
On that hardwood, he's gonna slip and not be able to bridge.
So your team bailout here.
I'm not team bailout. I mean, obviously,
like
in ideal scenarios, we have enough space between the out of bounds line and whatever the flooring is. But yeah, I mean, I think it's so here. I think it's easier to make a blanket rule than say, well, if we're slippery, we're going to call it. But if the floor's not slippery, we'll let them wrestle because then no one freaking knows what's going to happen. If you're off the mat, you're off the mat, and that's what makes out of bounds in college great. If anything's in, you're in. Hey, how about that stupid?
That makes college. Well, it's. I mean,
high school out of bounds is so sketch.
Well, yeah, just because it's worse doesn't mean college is great. College out of bounds is like, I mean, how many times I see guys with single legs just trying to get a hand or a toe on the hardwood just so they can get blatant. A restart. Blatant, and they don't call it.
It's on bottom too. You need a restart. Get to the edge.
Yeah, but they don't call it.
Hey, these refs though, that Ragusan RBY, you guys remember that? Yeah. Ragusan, at first I was like, what is he pointing at? What's he doing? This is so stupid. And they watch it, and it's like,
they were out of bounds by like 2 inches, and
the ref didn't change it.
Like, I get it's a cylinder out there, so like if you hover above it, but RBY was clearly like 2 inches out. No,
clearly out. So that was annoying that they didn't change their call on
the
that
thing
one.
that might have been in. Well, one, we have no idea if they had the same view we did.
Yes,
who knows what they were looking at. Two, Ragusan's foot. Could have been the thing. You couldn't tell, but yeah,
you need bird's eye view too. Technically,
it looked like he was right though. I would have.
We need to have a cylinder that just the light comes up and so we can see.
It was crazy how Art Roman almost got the major at the end there after he had it, and then Ragusan gets the escape late, and then he almost gave it up. Like, It was so much closer
Ragusan has some serious deficiencies on bottom, which have now been exposed by McGee and by Roman. I believe they both tilted him for 4, right?
Yeah. So he's got to get his wrist back. 41, no Micic. Sounds like he's okay, and we'll see him again, but not.
Totally lame to miss Rivera Lee weekend, though.
It's a big weekend to miss.
That's
lame.
the week. Spin Zone. That's the weekend to miss.
Ha! No.
But it sounds like not a serious thing, so that's good. 49 was unfortunate. I mean, listen, you can say what you want about.
Stop.
Say what stop. I haven't even started. You won't even let me start before you're stopping me.
You better not claim this. I'm gonna go back. You better not claim this one as a win.
Well, injury default would not count, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think he counted that.
Good.
But I am beating you worse than before, and it's only
it's
going to
not
get
good.
worse as there's more matches. But I thought, man, listen, it was like 1 second of wrestling, but he came out more aggressive and assertive than we've seen this year. Would you not agree with that?
I mean, there was literally one thing that happened. I mean, we're talking the first 20 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, it was sort of.
I just want to complain about my picks. I missed by so many. I'm going to compliment you, JD. I missed so many by half a point. Like, that's some good lines. Like, Dean, half a point. He won by 2, and it was 2.5. Staroki won by 1, and it was 1.5. Like, you're making some good lines, JD.
Yeah, it was very
I need
good.
to learn to pick on the right side better.
How about my Bergie wisdom? Wow. So
I'll move us to the next duel. You guys just need to give me this one. I picked Max Muir, and you guys talked me out of it. I'm pissed at you guys.
No.
I had this feeling it was going to be tight, and you guys talked me out of it.
No. That is
Yes,
not
you
my.
did. I said I'm picking Max Muir, and you said no. Sasso always kills him.
I never said no. I probably brought that up. What do I care what you pick? I don't want to influence you. Go ahead, pick whatever you want. But what you said, I believe the conclusion you reached was, no, Max Muir is going to shoot ahead inside single.
You said he cannot help himself.
He can't help himself. That was your conclusion.
Damn it.
But Murin did that duel.
tough.
He wrestled really tough. He was right there, and that would have been a huge win for Iowa, who took 2 losses that are definitely hurt. Ayala, Heinzelman. That was a great match, by the way. I mean, just a lot of offense. 2 guys looking to score. I think you didn't learn anything new about Ayala, but when guys get to his legs,
What the hell?
what'd you do?
Dang it!
He took off his
Messed everything up.
Ben took off his sweatshirt and then proceeded to jam up all his electronics.
That was not my best line.
What did you? Yeah. That was sort of. That was the disrespect for Malik Heinzelman is insane, and I'm not saying it's just you.
He takes some bad losses.
I mean, how many times did he get? Well, first of all, the matchup here is great for Malik because Malik is not going to get exposed from underneath by Drake Ayala. Drake is not elite from the top position. He can ride some guys, but he's not able to get a lot of turns. But when Ayala's got good reattacks, he's got good head hands, but when guys get to his legs, he's got some problems, and guys can finish on him. And Malik, I thought, was able to capitalize well. Now, in a rematch, who knows how it goes, but for right now, Heinzelman seems to have an advantage on his feet. Then DeSanto was back, and the poor Kuntz family, they only seem to use the Kuntzes when it's Iowa. I remember it was last year, they used both the Kuntz for Spencer Lee and Austin DeSanto. It was just diabolical. They got
Wait, neither one of them are 2,500s. Maybe one of them made 25?
One of them made 25 just for just special for Spencer Lee. And then I'm pretty sure this is true.
Okay.
My son reminded me of this actually. And then so DeSanto, he rolls him up. 41. It was Ironman looked pretty good against D'Amelio, although D'Amelio he competed. But yeah, the match was Muir and Sasso. A 3-2 win for Sammy. What were your thoughts on this match overall?
I thought Sammy was messing around a little too much in that scramble in the third period. I thought there was a sequence where he might have lost there if he didn't get, he was like working super, super hard for that reversal. And I thought there was a couple of sequences where he could have just got the escape, which would have made it 2-2, and then obviously he'd have to get the takedown. But I thought he was playing with fire a little bit.
He was definitely playing with fire. And I've been thinking more about 49, just looking how it's been materializing throughout the season. And for Max Murin, who is putting together a pretty decent season, he's been wrestling well. There's an opportunity for him to place pretty high here if things break right or he just has a good tournament. Because this is not this tournament, or this weight, other than Yanni, they all have some vulnerabilities. Now, we haven't seen them really with Tariq yet. But
So
Heil beats Gomez. Gomez is kind of beating everyone right now. Max Murin.
Love it beat Yaya.
Yes. Love it beats Yaya. Murin's beating Yaya. I mean, I think he's right there with a lot of these guys. Like, Josh Heil's ranked 4th. Who is he favored against Max Murin?
Who would have picked that?
Gomez is pulling him up because he beat Gomez.
So,
And Gomez is beating a bunch of dudes.
Max could go with Josh. Max could go with, Austin. Austin right now to me he's a dark horse to make a run here. He's had to put together a really good season. I don't know if Ben will ever acknowledge it, but it's the reality. Austin Gomez is wrestling well.
You picked him last week.
Huh? You picked him
Oh, baby.
over Ridge?
Yep.
Which,
Yeah.
great
No,
match.
damn it. I picked him. Where did I pick him at? I'll have to go back and search. That was a good match. And it kind of, but we did talk about how two people with a lot of fireworks might end up with no fireworks because they're kind of a little bit fearful of each other. That was kind of what happened.
I don't know. They definitely locked up upper body one good time, and Gomez won the exchange.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say the final score was 4-2.
Right.
So with two really high scores, that's a low final.
So I thought Ridge wasn't able to get it going on top, and Ridge also
He never got on top.
Yeah, he didn't get the opportunity. And then upper body, they only really had one opportunity, one real exchange. Other than that, Gomez really dictated.
Ridge's big issue is that he doesn't have a quality leg attack that he can rely on. That's a huge issue, right? But if someone's shooting on him, which Gomez didn't really do, that's smart on Gomez's part, is like you don't really want to shoot all that much on Ridge Levitt if you don't have to, and you don't want to go bottom of Ridge Levitt if you don't have to. And he didn't shoot and he didn't go on bottom, so that's kind of what you're looking for if you're wrestling him.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did go bottom, and it cost him. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So Yaya was having the advantage on his feet. It was 3
Lovett
takedowns.
only won by 1 point. I was the one guy that picked Lovett to cover 1.5.
I don't know if we should move off of Penn State, Michigan yet. I think we did.
Really? What else?
That Brooks Amin exchange was ridiculous at the end. It was kind of a boring match. There was not a lot of attacks. I think Brooks was sort of dictating early, but he wasn't taking a lot of risks, not a lot of attacks. He got the one ankle pick, I think, in the first period. But beyond that, and then it was kind of off a restart, but not really. Like, they were out of bounds and they centered up, and then Amin darts in on this single, and Amin's in, and then he has the foot, and Brooks throws the head to the outside, and there's multiple
We have a clip of it.
really strong defenses
There's
here.
a couple times when Amin gets in relatively good position, but then Brooks' hips just too strong.
Hips, and he kept going to the foot, getting to the foot. And a few times, Amin was able to free himself and get back to almost a neutral standing single position.
Yes.
And Brooks just was not to be taken down. But I think if you're Amin, you're like, all right, I obviously can beat this guy. I just have to finish the leg attack.
Yes.
And if you're Brooks, I think it's like, I wonder if that match, I think in the third period, going into that match, if you told Aaron Brooks he's going to be on a standing single on you in a tie match, you're going to be like, okay, that's not ideal. It's probably not the circumstance you want to be in. So it's obviously going to be a nip and tuck match the next time, because I don't think Brooks' style is going to lend itself to getting 3-4 takedowns or even 2 takedowns against someone. It's going to be a 1-3 takedown match because he's not.
At least in the top 4 there.
What'd you say?
The top 4 of 184. That's going to be the case.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. This Dean Brucky match was nuts because Brucky was like really having good success from neutral, and then I said going into the third period, I was like, I don't think he should go under, and he almost got away, but then he gets ridden out, sudden victory, tired, and then he gives up the takedown in overtime. Maybe it's good for him to have felt the top work of Max.
And if you're listening on Spotify, you can watch.
You can see that he went back to the same ankle pick he scored with, and he's got thrown by for a takedown. Did Brucky, but I thought Brucky obviously wrestled a really good match, but Dean had it at the end, and there was a lot of complaints about Dean's top work in the third, which a lot of people thought it was stalling. He could have maybe got a call or a warning, but I thought Dean is not no. Dean is not a traditional stall rider, I would say. I think he's someone who this is a guy that works to turn. He was working for the bow and arrow, and then Brucky would get to his feet. He was on a single leg, but there's a misconception about the drop down rule, and you hear it from corners, you hear it from fans. Because someone has a standing single and is on top, there's no 5 count there. There's no count at all. It's just he needs to work to return.
That's so funny to me because the standing single is the place at which they could stall the greatest, right? Because the guy who has his leg up, right? So the bottom person in the situation, in order for him to free his foot, he was going to have to take some pretty large risks. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Obviously, the other you could turn down and go kind of turtle shell, which then again, you're kind of conceding a little bit because you know that there's no path to escape. So all positions, that's one where I feel like you probably should be getting a stall call, and you probably should have to work really hard to try to return them quickly. And if you can't, then you're gonna have to let them go.
Yeah, you can do the fake attempt at tripping. Like I can't reach the other leg. I can't reach. I'm trying.
Yeah.
And so I think that's. I saw quite a bit of top stalling, and I'm frustrated by the lack of. If it's not with and I'll tell you the situation that annoys me the most. If it's not within the guidelines of what we call stalling, right, dropping down to a leg, side headlocks, etc., then we're not going to call it. No matter what the top person's doing, we're not going to call it, and that annoys the crap out of me because it's like, man, if this top guy, I'm blanking on which match was really bad this weekend, but there was one that I was watching, but then. If someone goes for an assassin, a pinning combination, you're going to start counting to 5 on them? Like, ref, that is not a side headlock. That's an assassin. Do you literally not know wrestling to that level? It pisses me off. And really, that side headlock is not being used like it was, say, a decade ago to stall. So they should probably take that out of the rule book.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take but you just putting it back, taking it out of the rule book before people would game it again. That's probably why it's not being gamed.
But if you're jumping to this, if you're stalling, this is where I get back to. It's like, I feel like it's so simple. If they're stalling, call them for stalling. And if they're not stalling, don't call them for stalling. Doesn't that seem so simple? Like, we could all watch. You guys are wrestling fans. You can watch a top guy and know when he's making no attempt to turn someone. It's so easy to see. I just don't understand why it's so complex.
Yeah.
It has to be so complex.
I agree. It's not I wish it were called differently as well.
The other one that annoys me, which we've talked about this one before, who was it? It was Gavin Hoffman. Warner was keeping his toe on the mat, which we know is so stupid because the second Gavin Hoffman does something good, he'll pull his toe out. So Gavin Hoffman crawled out, which is the only thing the bottom guy can do at that point, and Gavin Hoffman got called for stalling. Like, oh my God, this is absurd.
That is an annoying thing that happens. Speaking of assassins, I think JD is looking for it. Hey,
I'm embarrassed for the bottom guy. I don't know who the bottom guy was, but
yeah, you can't get clowned like that.
Well, but the way he just turns and leaves his head up, like, where do you think you're gonna go from here? Like, just put your head underneath the body, and he's not gonna do anything. It's so simple.
I think it's one of those scenarios where it's like you just never been there, and you're so programmed for certain things on bottom, and then someone throws what do we call that lineup too? When you line up facing the opposite direction and the hand and the elbow. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone I knew it was a thing you're allowed to do, but no one does it. Why can't we find this video? We posted it, but we can't.
Posted it.
I know, but it's we're looking. I've been keeping a side eye on our Instagram. I can't find it.
Okay.
Anyway, that was
copyright infringement, and you have to take it down.
That was I think it was from our stream. It was our live stream, so that would be highly annoying if that happened.
Hold on yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called. I don't foresee that happening because if you're not an idiot and you're the bottom guy, nothing's going to happen.
Now, must we call
it? Sorry, no offense I believe it was Oregon State.
Okay, we got it. So we'll be able to show the most ridiculous pin of 2022. Okay, so where the heck were we actually?
We got it.
Look at this classic Yagoon.
I mean,
look at the lineup again. Look at how he lines up. This is crazy. If you're not watching on the video, you should. Go back real quick because this is.
Sorry to all Apple listeners, but switch to Spotify so you can watch.
Switch to Spotify like an adult.
I mean, if you're that Oregon State guy, you gotta go into hibernation for a little bit.
Beavers don't hibernate.
But you have to.
You can't. Bears hibernate, which is what the Northern Colorado.
Well, hibernation is over.
Hibernation's over, so that's such a sick move. He was losing too. He needed
Cody Eaton. What a legend.
Let's pause right here. Let's pause right there. Right there. Literally the top guy. Okay, right. If he just puts his elbow in and or puts his head underneath the body, pivot this way, not that way. You go that way, you're gonna get tossed on your back. Come on, bro.
Now, how many people are we gonna see do this? When they're down.
None, because it's not gonna work anymore. Because it's freaking easy to stop.
I'd hit you with it. Hey, listen.
Honestly, where it would probably work because they're significantly worse wrestlers is the high school level.
Yeah.
Where people don't understand wrestling, that's where it would actually have some function. At the Division I college level, if this works anymore, I would be semi-shocked.
All right. You need to, at your clinic on Friday, you need to show this. You need to show defense for it before all our kids are getting partied on.
Keith Cawthorn brings up a good point. Stay woke on Little Rock doing this as Chandler Rogers is their head coach. This is very Chandler Rogers-esque.
Yeah, it seems like something he would do. All right. I don't even know what was happening or how we got there, but that's just how the show goes.
I don't know. How did you get there? Wait, I know. I will get us centered and focused, Christian, because we had moved from the Penn State-Michigan duel to Iowa-Ohio State, and we were creeping up on your terrible prediction, and so you took us back to Penn State-Michigan.
What was my terrible prediction?
Carson Karsla and Marinelli, where you said he will not short drag him.
I did. Well, yeah, I did say that. Hold on. You didn't say he would. You asked, is he going to hit him with a drag? I was like, I don't think so. He's going to be ready for that. And he was not ready for it. He hit him with the sucker drag. I mean, this is the greatest sucker dragger of our generation.
Look, Tyler, pull in. We have the clip from Marinelli, and then the clip he did it to Griffith, too.
Yes.
Who's out here short dragging?
National champs. And
it's literally called a sucker drag.
Literally, sucker. Boom. What does he do special about it? Because it looks like every great sucker drag I've ever seen. Like he comes.
He even ran waist at first on that one.
Yeah, which is not always advisable.
Really, you got to go where else would you go on a sucker drag?
You come up to the leg,
drop down,
which he did eventually. That's how he took him down.
Because you wouldn't sucker drag from your feet if you're on your knees. You don't want to go to the leg. That's a bad idea. I would not.
You wouldn't understand technique at this level.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, if you're that low and you go to the leg, they're going to be able to free it from you. If you go around the waist, you can do the old Mitch McKee where he went
down
here and then he pulled him back this way.
Yeah.
Show the clip. He did it to Griffith too, Tyler. Yeah.
Maybe because his neck, it's got to have something to do with, right? His grip is important on the armpit here. Maybe his neck is hard to hold on to. Maybe it's big, extra large or something. So that maybe he gets a little more, maybe he rubs some grease on himself right here. puts the
Wow.
grease on his neck.
What a scandal.
He's not getting wiped down before.
Either way, yeah, I said he's not going to sucker drag him. I mean, I did not rule out the possibility. Listen, a bad prediction would have been saying like,
Well, you said he will not. I think that rules out the possibility.
Okay. No. What I said there wasn't a possibility. That's not what I said. I said I didn't rule out the possibility that he could score a takedown. I said he's not going to do that. And it's not like
But
you
then
guys,
he did that.
Okay, and not like you guys took the counter perspective. You said,
Hey,
Ben.
don't say that just because you're wrong, Christian. It's okay.
No.
You don't have to attack us because you were wrong.
Listen, it's not about being wrong. It's not like you guys are right. You didn't say anything. It's not like we had this debate where I said he's not going to sucker drag, and you said, oh, yes, he will. Watch. And then he did. This is not some triumph for you, Ben. You didn't even put your neck out there. What perspective did you give?
You're making excuses here, Christian. It's okay. You got one wrong. We all get one wrong sometimes. No big deal.
It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse.
It sounds like an excuse to me.
No, I don't think you know what.
You don't have to get defensive because you had a bad take.
Listen. These are the two guys looking up at me, wondering how can I get more picks right, as they fall further and further behind every single week.
You also said Kirkland wasn't on Mason Paris's tier, so that's two terrible takes in one day.
You were right there with me. We were arm in arm, brother. What are you talking about?
I don't recall that.
You co-signed. Okay, you sound like you should be in Congress with your recollections.
Is it time to crown Karchel the greatest sucker dragger of all time, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, who else? I mean, we'd have to go way back probably to find someone who's that good at a sucker drag.
Ryan Lang had a good one, I'm pretty sure.
Purdue Ryan Lang? That's my only
Northwestern Ryan Lang.
That one, okay.
I think he hit it. He hit one against, I think his name was Fish of
Donnie Fish from
Ryder. Yeah. He was losing, and he like shot under, sucker drag. Great move. He is the greatest sucker dragger of our generation, we can at least safely say. No one's.
You guys remember in freestyle wrestling all the time when they used to feel your neck? They would literally, the referee would feel your neck.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't get pat down before matches.
Wow.
Yeah, like if you're greasing your neck or greasing your ribs for some gut wrenches.
They still do that. They just give it's more just a touch now.
Hi. Well, they'll just they don't do
quick.
They don't do the full pat.
You used to
down.
do the whole presentation. You show your blood rag and then make your tea.
Yep. Get inspected. Okay, so we got to talk about this match where Karchla pulls off the upset, and I think we knew it was going to be a close one, right? I mean, maybe JD didn't know because he picked the over here and thought Marinelli would cover, but and he was so very wrong. It was incredible. But
that line was 1.5.
I mean, Tyler, the producer, who doesn't watch any of this, got it right. That's just got to shake you to your core.
The only one who got it wrong.
I am. I thought Marinelli was going to win I thought it was going to go into overtime, and Marinelli was going to win 3-1 or something like that, or 5-3.
Which honestly was
How
totally
about the
reasonable.
hot mic situation? That was tremendous regarding this match.
What situation?
The hot mic situation.
He said trucker.
He did say trucker.
He said mother trucker, dude.
That was after.
That was after. That was in the 184 match. I guess if you didn't hear it, Terry said that Marinelli chased that mother trucker all over the mat.
Literally said mother trucker.
He literally said mother trucker. I'm not editing at all. This is a verbatim quote in one of the greatest quotes in wrestling history. Now, it is in the first period, I will say that Marinelli was definitely taking ground, more aggressive and offensive. But it's sort of, after that first period, it definitely changed.
Well, hey, but here's the other thing. This is not freestyle wrestling. In freestyle wrestling, you get passivities by controlling position in space, which we talk about, which I at times have an issue with. In folk style, you need to be able to take some attacks. If you're going to get a stall call on another person, you need to be offensive and aggressive. And I don't know if I would clarify Marinelli as being that aggressive. I definitely did not feel as though any stall calls were warranted in this match, and I love stalling.
Yeah, there may be. I thought a one warning would have been merited in the first period. I thought, because it wasn't some guy just pushing around. He was dropping to his knee. He was initiating attacks, but it's nothing that I think would have changed the match materially, other than maybe Karchla I mean, maybe the entire match changes and Karchla engages more, and who knows what happens. But I don't know. Whatever happened to imposing your will? And I feel like this about just in general, a general commentary on stalling. And this isn't even related to Marinelli or what is that noise? Sorry,
that was my bad.
Being played I think one thing about
who's you making excuses? I was listening to our show.
Man, you would think the one person that would have to listen to the show is the guy that's on it right now, but
well, I try to watch because I want to see the comments like you guys do. I took my sweatshirt off and this freaking thing stopped working and I can't figure out why. So now it's not connected. So now I'm just speaking to you through the computer and your voice is coming out. And I clicked on something and then so the audio came back up. Anyways, sorry.
Here we are. So I would say like I hear from everyone. They're like, this guy was running the whole match. This is not an Iowa or a Penn State or anything commentary. It's just a general commentary of how people are wanting stall calls. I'm like, man, your guy's not shooting. Your guy's not taking any risk. Your guy's not. You gotta let it fly more. And I just don't. I don't see it. I just don't think there's any major gripes.
Yeah, you don't deserve points for pushing them.
Yeah.
You need to be aggressive.
But I do think a step out point changes a lot of this discussion completely. And I'm Mr. Call Stalling. I'm Mr. There should be an edge step out. But I also know I feel like risk should be rewarded. And I just don't think you're just kind of taking ground or whatever. And I'm not even talking about the Marinelli one because I think he was actually looking to score. But then in the third period, I think we knew this was going to be a close match. And he gets a sucker drag. And that's the match.
The other thing we should be talking about too in this match is that I believe that Marinelli got to like 101 ride time, and so had Karchla not got it, it was going to be a 2-1 victory for right. Is that what it was? Or maybe he got over that ride time.
I can't recall the riding time situation.
Well, what was the final? No, the final score was 4-3. The ride time was in the balance.
Okay. Yeah, who did? So Marinelli had it.
Yes, I'm gonna bring the match up.
Yeah, he had 101 a riding time, so he would have been.
Karchla had to score.
Yeah, Karchla had
to score the takedown.
Yeah,
in regulation to win.
Man.
Yeah.
So then he immediately erased a riding time, and then that was it.
You have the final score written down as 4-3. I thought the final score was 3-1, right?
It was 3-2.
Yeah.
3-2. Okay, you have 4-3 written down.
Oh boy. Sometimes I wonder if I'm actually winning or JD's just putting everything wrong.
Miles might be just changing his choices too.
Absolutely not. You can revoke edit access. I definitely am not doing that.
We need to put this in a PDF format or something.
Listen to these excuses from Ben. So now with 165 heading into Bergie Marinelli, is this a match, Ben?
Marinelli ain't gonna blow him out.
Yeah. I think it's a one takedown match where I think Marinelli is more favored here than he was against Karchla, but I don't see a scenario where this flirts with anything resembling a beatdown.
Hell no. No way. So it was 1-1 with a 1:02 ride time for Marinelli. I remember that correctly.
Yes.
And so Karchla had to get this takedown, otherwise it was a 2-1 win. He gets it, he erased the ride time, and then Marinelli gets the takedown the escape to make it 3-2.
Serious drama on the East Coast for the ACC, where Virginia Tech and NC State were scheduled. I mean, we did a whole freaking duel preview about this thing. We were excited. I mean, Friday was going to be like the greatest Friday of duels. You know, you're going to have Michigan, Penn State, Virginia Tech, NC State, Iowa, Ohio State. And then that night, or basically that day, you find out, no, the duel's not happening. And it's like, well, why? And it's the Virginia Tech had 3 starters and a backup out, which I believe COVID related. And they're like, hey, we can't really field the full team, etc. Can we get a reschedule for this? And NC State didn't want to do that. or they couldn't agree on it, anyways. And so I've thought about
We
this.
need to get them both on the call, and we need to renegotiate this and find a future date for them to wrestle because it's ridiculous.
So I think there's two things happen that are ridiculous. I think one, the first thing that's ridiculous, after I thought about some more, you just got to go take your medicine, I think, if you're Virginia Tech. Yeah, you're going to be down 3 starters. You're not going to win the duel. But that's why you have 30 people on your team. You need to go and wrestle, okay? And I get that you don't want to, and I don't know the circumstances that led them to forfeiting, but I would think it'd be like I would imagine they probably thought, okay, we don't have all our guys. NC State will want to reschedule this and whatever, and I think both sides were not willing to make a compromise. Like Virginia Tech was not willing to compromise and bring a 70% team or 60% team. And then NC State was like, no, we're healthy and ready to go. This is the date. Let's wrestle now. Which I don't think that's good either because
let's do this, Christian. Let's get him on the phone. Get him on the phone. We'll negotiate this.
I'll call Roby, you call Pat.
Let's go.
Well, here's the thing. It's like for ACC, it's like, come on, you guys kind of have a sweet schedule. You do 1 duel a week for like 6 weeks.
Easy.
You could find a way to do it. So on that, I feel like I'm being fair here, where it's like Virginia Tech, you should probably go take your medicine. NC State, you should probably. This is the biggest duel for the conference. I think it's big for the conference. I think you find a way to get it rescheduled. Maybe it didn't fit the criteria for a reschedule and it wasn't possible, but I think you probably could have done it if you wanted to. So I think it's just overall unfortunate, and I wanted to see the duel, and I think it should happen. And for the ACC, these are the duels. I mean, it's like there's some other kind of cool duels, but there's nothing like Tech NC State right now. There's no one on their level right now, right? These are too far and away the class of. They're the biggest rivals, 1. And 2, they're the best teams. So it's disappointing. And they had all the momentum because their duels are always insane. They're always crazy and epic and close. And
now we are deprived.
And I just think I'm just sad that the duel didn't happen in some way, shape, or form.
Virginia Tech already pushed their duel against Pitt to Sunday. It was supposed to be Friday. The statement says the competition date for Virginia Tech Wrestling's ACC match at Pitt has been changed from 2 p.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, January 3rd. The match was originally slated to occur at 7 p.m. on Friday, January 28th in the ACC's competition window.
Now, Tech may have – I think they were going to have –
This is easy. Let me help you, Christian. It's simple. Virginia Tech, you have Sunday, February 6th, Sunday, February 13th, and Sunday, February 20th. You have all of those dates free.
Yeah.
This is not freaking hard. It's not.
It's yeah, I know. I mean, that's the – they have all their Sundays, I think, are free for both because they just wrestle on Friday nights, I think. So, yeah, they could.
Yes. All of those dates are free. Let's make it happen.
It's not going to happen.
Put them on.
Ben?
Pat Pop, pissing me off here.
Make it happen.
Schedule this duel.
It really should. But then, listen, here's the thing. People can
Let's go.
People can hypothetical things to the nth degree, but then you could say, well, what if NC State has some guys out? Then they lose the duel because they rescheduled.
We need to make an ironclad contract. February the 13th, right before Valentine's Day. Winner gets all the girls. Let's freaking do this. I don't care who's sick. I don't care who's healthy. Put it on the line. Let's go.
Jacob Warner's going to come and take all the girls.
Ladies, man needs to stay away from the girls because he'd be gassing out in all these matches. He's girls.
Weak legs.
Not look good, bro. He does not look good. He gassed out against the Minnesota dude. He was gassing out against Gavin Hoffman. Winning these matches by 1 point. He needs to take a break.
What are you thinking about the Dean Warner match after Dean's weekend and Warner's weekend?
I mean, I feel like it's going to be competitive, but I feel like I've just watched Jacob Warner against the Minnesota guy who he kind of gassed out in the third period. He's not like falling over gassing, but he's definitely not. When we talk about him versus opponent, it's definitely not good. When we look at the Gavin Hoffman match, same scenario. He gets an early takedown, the ride out in the first period. But then I think Gavin Halfling got taken on the end of the second, or maybe he almost got taken in the second and got taken on the third. Like, these are close matches against guys he should kind of be hammering. So I'm taking Max Dean for sure.
Yeah. He would be a favorite. Okay, so I guess that's a bow on the Tech NC State not duel.
No, we're not putting a bow on it. It's
No
freaking
bow.
open until no
Yeah.
bow. Tony Roby, Pep Pop, freaking let's do this.
Make it happen.
Someone asked the question. Let's debate this. Someone actually asked the question that wrestling has a lot of momentum, and is all of these missing duels, missing big matches going to affect the momentum? And I'm going to say no in the short term, but if this is something that continues, it's not ideal. I mean, I remember we did the over-under that week. Was it week 8, I believe, when we had, over-under 12.5 matches that are going to happen. I think it was of 25, and it was 11 out of 25 good matches happen. Like, if that continues, that will hurt the sport, because if we're not seeing good matches, we're not going to tune in and watch. So we need these good matches to happen. Virginia Tech, NC State. I know you guys are both upset at each other. You guys need to be grown-ups. You need to get on the phone with each other. You need to work this out, because this is important for both of your fan bases. This is important for the ACC. This is important for wrestling. Make this freaking duel happen. Stop playing around.
Yeah. I'm with you. I want to see it. Man, I just want to see that duel. I mean, how do you not want to see a duel like that? It's great.
Yeah.
Okay. There are quite a few notable results outside of the duels that we've been discussing, right? We talked about 49 with Lovett beats Yaya, Gomez beats Lovett. My eyes are continuing to be opened by Evan Wick. He beats Valencia 9-1.
I crushed him. It was ugly.
I think they've wrestled in the past and it hasn't been that bad. And Valencia's having a decent year.
Evans lost him in freestyle. I don't know if he's lost him in folk style.
Yeah.
I picked that one correctly.
Did you? Did we did that one?
I did not pick that one correctly.
That was the only one.
I mean, I thought everyone would win, but it was a 4.5 point spread. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a beatdown.
Yeah, and a beatdown it was, and we hadn't seen Evan for a little bit either.
Since CKLV.
Yeah.
So it was good to see him back, and quite a response there. And let me see if they've wrestled. No, just the one time.
I'm scrolling through the wrestling set right now.
Just the one meeting between those two.
Evan Wick, major decision. Mikhail Foy, who's the 97 pounder from Michigan or Minnesota right now.
Man,
hilarious.
Maybe he bumps up.
I'm not finding them in the folk style match. I'm way far back right now.
Yeah, so I think we looked at Valencia's losses and we're like, it's even against good guys, he doesn't get destroyed, and then
I said sometimes
Evan
wheels fall off
was
for him.
they do.
Uber dominant on the top position. I mean, Valencia did have a chance, and Evan scrambled out of that last takedown attempt. You remember where Valencia kind of headlocked and Evan kept the tricep and then spun out and then wrestled through it and got the takedown.
No, this is when we brought up, and I think it was after we made the pick, and then we're like, wait, Keegan teched him and Ethan Smith measured him, and then we didn't. We were stubborn. We paid the price. Paz gets pinned by Malszewski of Michigan State. Did you see this one?
I did not see this one.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. MSU Wrestling, because it was a kind of a highlight reel pin, sort of. Let me see if
Well, then Paz didn't wrestle on Sunday versus Brooks, or who did they have on Sunday? Yes, sorry.
Yeah, they gotta have this. It was a very epic pin.
I'm trying to bring it up here.
They keep showing the Caffey beating Dean. All right, here we go.
This was last year.
I got it. I'm sending it
You
to
got
Tyler.
it? Okay. All right,
T-Bone.
Tyler, let's bring it up. Yeah, so Paz didn't wrestle Sunday against Michigan, unfortunately, which that would have been a good match. So none of the good matches in Michigan, Rutgers happened. Michich versus Rivera didn't happen either, unfortunately.
Right. So
I guess
Malszewski,
both sets happened.
he pins Poznansky. Sorry about the volume. But he tries the cartwheel thing, hip over, which I always think is nuts looking, but it works most of the time. But
Works most of the time.
But here it's super. It really doesn't work. All right, here we go. So he gets a return. He puts the half in here. Malszewski on top of.
Yeah, get off the
Pause.
coaches already.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why they love doing it. Boom. And
No, you can't. Yeah, why would you? You're not supposed to cartwheel when they have the half Nelson in. It's the claw. The cartwheel works against the claw, guys. This is that was bad. That was bad.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't cartwheel with the half. You cartwheel with the claw.
Yeah. That's what I told Caleb.
And there needs to be so. I mean, when the cartwheel really works more than not. Now you can't if you're really super. Powerful, you can use it from other positions. Although when it really works is when the pressure is being ratcheted up by the top guy going out to the side more, right? In a more perpendicular avenue, he's cranking that claw to the side, and then boom, you go.
Yeah. So big win for Michigan State. They beat Purdue, Rutgers, and Indiana. So very solid performance.
He beat DJ Washington. I check his wrestle stat, but I can't spell his damn name.
Who?
Malshewski.
No, he lost to DJ.
Kyle Cochran beat DJ of Maryland. So that's a nice win. But yeah, Michigan State doing a nice
Quietly
job.
having a good year.
Quietly, they had to take their medicine against Penn State, but they got the win at 197 with Caffey knocking off Dean. Just a one take.
Caffey beat Bullsack this weekend too.
He hammered him, didn't he?
He majored him. He was losing with like a minute left and majored him. Because he hit a Merkel for 6 and then got another turn.
Merkel madness.
I don't know if there wasn't something that people weren't talking about maybe with Caffey, but early season, he dropped way down because he lost to Robluski from Illinois. He lost to Woodley, who's good. And then he lost to Koser from Navy, major. So, but then you look at his last 6 matches. So he did lose to Beard at the Scuffle, but his last 6 matches, he
lost to Michael Beard,
Canola,
and then beat
Bullsack. Those are some good wins right there. So
wow.
He's getting hot at the right time.
Quarterback controversy at 197 for Penn State with the Beard Caffey dynamic. You never know.
Yes, for real.
Oh man, that's so that was a big win for Caffey. And Dean, he's kind of been playing with fire a little bit. The Bullsack match was pretty close the week prior. Obviously, the Brucky match in here with Caffey. So 197, I was kind of saying, it's Dean and Ferrari and then kind of everyone else, but that doesn't look to be the case.
Why are you guys leaving Rocky Elam ranked so high? Because now he's at 2 not-so-great losses, I guess.
Because everybody has losses. Max Dean just lost. Jacob Warner lost to Bastida. Stephen Buchanan lost to Owen Pence.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I guess so. He did hammer Sloan at the Scuffle. He beat Beard at the Scuffle. He beat Louis Dupre. Yeah, beat Woodley.
Yeah, this weight is totally nuts. All these guys have losses. Yeah, but Rocky does seem high, though.
He just beat Woodley this weekend.
He just beat Woodley, who's 7, and he has beat Sloan before, but he did lose to Sloan. He's also beat Beard, and Beard's beat Caffey. Yeah.
How about, this is not going to be Ben's favorite part of the show, but get jacked. South Dakota State beat Missouri. And, yes, Missouri was without Keegan O'Toole and Peyton Mako. However, they won a lot of matches they were not supposed to win.
Yeah. That was not a good deal for Missouri. I don't know. I don't have any excuses for them. They wrestled like crap.
Gabe Tag comes out and pins Connor Brown, that's big. Hart did beat Carlson yet again, so that's nice.
We all lost on that one.
We all lost on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most notable ones to me in that one were Rocky losing to Tanner Sloan, who he had just beat, and then Zach Elam lost to Neville's, who, I wouldn't have really considered him that much of a threat there. So those 2 matches are unfortunate. Obviously, they lost 84 also, which is not ideal.
Cade King beating Jeremiah Kent definitely surprised me. But, man, Coach Hahn's got it going. And he just lost. He just had a coach ripped out from under him. And the train keeps moving. Him in it?
Yeah, they should have put him in the lineup.
Well, they have Tanner Cook.
In our lineup.
He said they actually discussed it, and there was compliance issues in an interview.
Edmond rebounds from a loss. He lost to who did he lose to? The Oklahoma backup.
Oklahoma backup. It was what's his name?
What is that guy's last
He's
name?
not very good.
He's all right, but
You told me, no, he lost to one of our guys at the UW juniors last year. 'Cause I was just looking that up.
yeah. So huge win for South Dakota State. Got to be. I mean, 21-12 too. That's not. Anyway, what we were deprived of was one of our favorite pick'ems was the O'Toole Tanner Cook match, the pin or no pin. What was going to happen there? I hope they hit at Big 12 just so we can finally settle the long-standing debate. Yeah, closure, much needed closure. Okay, that was shout out South Dakota State. Where do we want to go next?
I have a gripe.
Willie McNeil is who Josh Edmond lost to.
Gotcha.
I have a gripe with the official in the Nebraska Northwestern match
Go off, King.
because Deacon only beat Rob 4-2. But so one of his takedown came. He put Rob in danger, like single leg. Rob draped over top. He put him in danger. He gets the takedown, and then comes out of 90, but still like same position. And they call stalemate immediately, like 1 second after he calls the takedown. You can't do that.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think we should just mark it as a win for us.
Denied the opportunity for Deacon to get back points there.
I just think you gotta put athlete safety first. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's priority one. So yeah, he won 4-2, but he was back. We all got that one wrong.
Yes.
We all said
Rob hit a beautiful roll though in that move to avoid giving up a takedown.
he's rolly.
It was like
Very well.
Deacon shot a single. I wish we had a clip of it. Deacon shot a single, and he had shin whizzer and rolled through. He didn't get a takedown off of it, but it was nice. He almost did. He had Deacon in danger for a second before Deacon was able to roll through.
Okay, this
Rob almost over rolls, like too much rolling.
Yeah,
You saw the
he
break.
literally didn't allow Deacon to come through to
Yeah.
his belly.
once a week
He
I'm
knew he
gonna
was
talk
wrong.
about this person, and you guys can deal with it or you can embrace it, whatever. But Dean Hamidi is just killing everyone. I don't care what the records are. There's not
Yeah.
people in wrestling that are destroying Division I wrestlers at the level he is. He is just housing
Maryland.
people.
We got 2 weeks, and then he's got Marinelli. So then we're gonna see what the real deal is.
I mean,
But
his first takedown against.
listen, the Bubba Wilson was good. He pinned him, and Minnesota kid. But this dude from Purdue, he's really bad. So, and I think the Maryland dude is really bad also.
He is just, I mean, kicking necks in left and right.
Yes.
I don't know if he's a title contender, but I
Except
don't.
against Tyler Brennan of Little Rock,
Listen,
who has given him his toughest
That's
match.
Tyler Brennan.
that was like
Hayden
November.
Laurie got tech balled by multiple people, so he's not very good.
Yeah. Okay. So his one match is the.
It is just interesting that is his most notable match and toughest match.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And he still has not faced like a top, 5 guy yet. I know, but my gosh, he just goes out to destroy. He's just constantly in pursuit of the next point.
One thing actually I was going to compliment him on, and it's the Bubba Wilson and the Kale Carlson's which Carlson is
You're
it?
right, Kale.
Is it Kale? Kale. And I'm going to crap on everyone else. 'Cause actually, I just worked with UW Parkside last week, and we worked on inside cradles, and I said the benefits you're going to get good from understanding an inside cradle position, it's not going to be that much work, and if you get it locked up, you can pin people, and that's what he does. And the Bubba Wilson and Carlson, I don't even think they're real moves. They're just he kind of caught him out of position, and they're heading their knee or too close, and boom, he locks his hands, and then there you go. Whereas there's multiple other matches this week I watch, and the guys have inside cradles, and they just let them go. There is nothing in wrestling that is more offensive to me than when you have an inside cradle locked up and you let it go. I think you're an idiot if you do that. I am highly offended because when you have an inside cradle, you should pin them. You should pin them. And then you just let it go? You don't even get back points? What the hell's wrong with you? Any of you college wrestlers who let an inside cradle go, we got issues.
He got
We got
problems.
issues.
He's got big time beef
Yeah.
with the cradle releasers. I don't know what
Don't
it is.
let it go. Inside cradle.
Hamidi's thing is he's got these these long arms. He can clamp it on quick, and he's.
Well, I think that's maybe when those two that I mentioned that he pinned, a possible could be they're not. I was talking about having like a cradle radar, like understanding when you're wrestling, when your head and your knee are close enough, and so your radar's going off, and maybe with him, because he does seem to have abnormally long arms, that they're not realizing that they're in a position where they could be cradled. Possibly, I don't know.
He's got the radar. He's got the dimensions and the instincts. It's all working together
for the bleeps, the sweeps,
the
creeps.
He does. Great Spaceballs reference there by JD. Have you seen Spaceballs, Ben?
I've watched it one time, but it's been so long I couldn't tell you anything about it.
It's a good one. I forget why I wanted to watch it. I started it yesterday or last week for some reason. When I was locked down, when I was on house arrest. Now I'm out on bail, fresh out of jail. California jail. Okay. Why don't we...
Yeah, what do we
get to some questions?
We don't have much time left.
We don't. We do not. Siowa 14. This person I think is just an Iowa State fan. They just have a negative view on life right now. He said, I had a bad feeling we were going to be massively disappointed with who wrestles the Penn State versus Iowa duel. Are you guys preparing yourself for that or going all in? He says go Lions.
I'm all in.
He says go
Let's
Lions.
Go.
I'm all in. I think Iowa's
Yeah.
not going to sit their guys, and I think Penn State's not going to sit their guys. I think they're all going to – I think we'll get the best 10 for both. I don't know who would be out. I think everyone looks reasonably healthy. And, I think it's going to be a great duel. I think Iowa obviously has their work cut out for them. And there is the potential – it could go different directions because, there's a lot of winnable matches for Penn State. And if they're winnable, that's scary. But Iowa's going to –
In Iowa.
It's in Iowa. It's in Iowa.
No, in Iowa. There's a lot of winnable matches. They may be an underdog, but they're winnable. They're not totally out of reach.
A lot of a lot of matches are not guarantees. They're not locks for Penn State.
Drake versus Hildebrandt. You're going to favor Hildebrandt, but are you really shocked if Drake wins?
No.
74.
No.
Kemmer beat
him
last year. Big Ten.
Yeah.
Much worse than he beat him in NCAAs.
Probably the underdog.
Iowa should win 49-57-65 for sure. That's 3. Yeah. And DeSanto and Lee are you're thinking they're almost the two biggest, well, obviously besides Brooks, they're almost the two biggest locks for Penn State, and those matches were matches that they've lost previously in their careers.
Yes. I would agree with that. So there's plenty of opportunity for Iowa. There's also the opportunity for Penn State they could run away with this. They really could.
Yes.
So we're going all in.
All in.
So Hoffman got rode out for 2 minutes and 26 seconds in the first. I know Warner went optional start at the beginning of the second, but why would Hoffman choose bottom after being rode out for so long?
Well, he didn't get dominated on bottom. He didn't. He got to his feet a lot of times, almost got out. He got the stall call on Warner, and I actually do kind of feel like it was a stall warning. I hate, you guys know another thing I hate. You guys should be getting sick of things I hate. The top guy pushed the bottom guy out. I don't like that's freaking stalling top dude.
That happens all the time.
I thought actually going under was the obvious choice for Hoffman because if you saw how it was ending, it was one of those scenarios where Warner got hit. He kept getting in these almost near stall situations, but then he was pot committed to the ride where you got to go for the ride out now and finish the period. But it was pretty obvious he wasn't going to mess around with that anymore. So I think it's it was literally the scenario where it's probably a free point one way or the other for Hoffman. So I think it was the right call. It's not good that you get ridden for 2 minutes before that, but I think taking bottom made the most sense.
Yeah, that was the right move. Hey, I was thinking about that. We do the push out point. If the bottom guy, the bottom guy never wants to go out of bounds. I don't know if people are not smart enough to not realize this. The bottom guy never wants to go out of bounds if he's on his feet because if he goes out of bounds, then he goes back from bottom. He's down. He has to start all the way over. Okay. So if we did the push out point, if the bottom guy, if they're in the referee's position and they go out of bounds, the bottom guy essentially gets an escape.
Yes.
We think. Hate it?
Then I think you're going to have bottom guys crawling for the out of bounds, and I think that's weird.
But I mean, it's going to be hard unless you end up over there. You can't really crawl that far. And really, if you crawl, so you think about the way the bottom position works, right? If you're crawling, that means you're moving forward. If you're moving forward, that means they're going to have really easy access to your wrists and arm bars and all that stuff. So like crawling on bottom is a really terrible idea.
Yes.
It's very bad.
So, yeah, I don't hate it. I'd like to see a more regular interpretation of edge wrestling first, but yeah, that would be good. Santiago Claus, kind of piggyback on something you said. Could all these highly anticipated duel matches falling through start to break the momentum wrestling has been getting? Yeah,
I stole it.
Of course, it's not good. And one thing, there's the worst case example is NC State and Virginia Tech just getting canceled outright, it was canceled. Yeah, you can call it a forfeit or whatever, but the duel not happening. But the other thing is, the coolest thing about wrestling this is going to sound weird, but it's the matches. It's the individual matches that you get the most excited for. It's not, listen, Iowa versus Penn State is not just inherently cool. It's cool because the good wrestlers are going to wrestle each other and you get to see cool matches. So when you start losing the highlight match, I mean, how many times did the biggest match of the weekend not happen, not go down? I mean, it's so common, it's so routine in the sport. Yeah, it's a huge vulnerability. Because
it's our opinion, that's why the UWW can't get steam is because none of the good matches happen all that often. Like the best dudes wrestle once or twice per year.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's tough, and so you get it more in college wrestling, but you're never quite sure. Are we going to get this awesome match? That's the number one question to every anticipated match is this match going to happen? It's not who's going to win. It's like, well, we hope they'll both wrestle, but we know that the threshold to get held out of a match is so much lower if it's a good match. That's a fact, right? If the match is bigger, if there's a higher probability of losing, you see guys held out more. I think we've seen that.
I would have to do I'm not as confident in saying that, but it feels right, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just said it feels right. I don't know it for sure either. Wow, what's up with? Listen, get ready. I'm glad you're sitting. What's up with Ben's boy ducking Tanner Cook?
That's funny.
Because he's not. I don't.
He was scared. That was why.
Yeah, he was scared. Okay, what's up with Braxton Amos? He was on a short list to challenge AJ, but his results have been disappointing. Has Ben watched any film? Any ideas?
Didn't we already talk about this on the show? I felt like I outlined it pretty clearly.
Okay, well then go back and listen to all those shows. Almost there.
You want me? If we didn't, and maybe I was talking to someone off the show, but if you want me to talk about it, I can talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the biggest obvious thing is he does almost all pushing and no pulling. And pushing exhausts you more than it exhausts them. In freestyle and Greco, you get a huge benefit because you can get them out of bounds and score points and or get them to make mistakes on the edge and then score huge points off of that. In folk style, you're not rewarded as significantly. So he doesn't do any pulling, and pulling does sets up a lot of shots, right? Because you can make them move their feet. And then the second obvious is the weight class, which I correctly predicted that. You guys said because you can't never listen to sources. You got to watch other things, right? Because they said wasn't going to be an issue, and I think I don't know. It's pretty clear it's an issue. And then the last one would be he's not very good on bottom. That's an issue.
Yeah. I mean, since the season started, I think he's improved a lot. I don't know if he's going to be.
He just lost to Panola 8-3.
Ooh, I didn't see that actually. I saw his Schultz match.
He lost to Schultz in a relatively close, but then he lost to Panola 8-3. So, he did beat Foy from Minnesota, that's a pretty good win. But when you look at how tough this weight class is, it's going to be hard for him to make some headway given his skill set.
There's not a lot of off matches where, it's a really deep weight.
Yes.
Okay. Next
Hey,
question.
listen, people are trying to misquote me, and this guy's trying to do it in the questions. Dave,
Hit it.
and they tried, and some other nerd on Twitter tried to do it too. I was very clear with what I said, and I'm pretty damn correct. And I texted Vincenzo, and I said, "Hey, man, I'm mischaracterized on Twitter. You can go listen to what I said, and I think it was fair. And I think he accepted what I said as fair. So,
Oh
stuck
yeah,
at Twitter.
I forgot about that whole thing. So basically, anyone listen, the people that were trying to make trouble on Twitter just can't follow the plot of the. It's very simple. All Ben said was, listen, there's this class of Penn State wrestler, the 5 transcendent guys, David, Ed, Nolf, Nichols, Zane. They reached an all-time dominant strata that very few wrestlers have reached. Then there's a tier below, which is like Nico, Mark Hall, Vincenzo Joseph, Quentin Wright. Really good. They weren't like ever the undefeated dominator types of wrestlers. That was all he said, was that Chinzo never because I think you may have used the words Chinzo never developed. What is implied there, he never developed into the transcendent level. Not that he never developed, you dummies.
Well,
he was a 2-time national champion.
Yeah. I kind of said it flippantly on Wednesday, I believe. And then I wanted to be very clear with what I meant. So on Thursday, I really outlined the 4 tiers. And I said clearly on Thursday also, I'm talking about the high level recruits they got. I'm not talking about the other people, just the high level recruits. There's some of them that didn't do anything at all. There's some of them that were kind of like, okay. Then there was, okay being like All-American-ish. Then there's some of them that were really, really good. And then there's some of them that were transcendent. They kind of go in 4 tiers for me.
Yes. Yeah. I forgot about that one.
I'm trying to make something out of nothing.
They're a bunch of troublemakers. Well, they just can't keep up. Just keep up, guys. It's a very learned audience by and large, though.
Yes.
Is anyone beating Evan Wick this year?
He's looking really good.
He's looking like the number 1 seed to me.
Yeah.
When Pac-12s, he should be.
What if he gets Marinelli at like the 4 seed, who he has struggled with in the past?
Who he's also beaten in the past.
I mean, Marinelli's got the battles to be the 4 seed.
Yeah. What?
If
he beats Karchla, beats Karchla Big Tens, he could get 4.
Yeah, honestly, Big Ten at 165 is not the best. It's not the.
He's got to beat Hamidi.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about DJ.
Yeah. We had a question now. Does Berge All-American? Do we think Berge All-American's after his
He could. I still think it's going to be tough for him. Let's look at 65. I mean,
65 is actually not as deep as we were talking about early in the year.
It's top heavy is what it is.
There aren't as many weights where there are so many title contenders.
I think there's 5 title contenders at this weight. Maybe 6 with him.
Hamidi, are you tossing Hamidi in there?
You know what? I'm tossing him in.
Like that.
He's ranked 6th. I don't think.
Well, I mean, where's he been? I feel like he's in wrestling. Oh, I'm gonna make sure.
Oklahoma.
He's been out for a little bit.
He did wrestle on January 8th against Little Rock. He beat our guy Tyler Brennan 9-4.
That guy wrestles. He wrestles guys tough. That was Hamidi's closest match. So I do think it's a top heavyweight, but it's not as deep. So I think he can play. Like, all right, right now, Anthony Valencia is 7th, Julian Ramirez is 8th. So yeah, Berge can beat that. He beat a returning All-American in Amin, who we had ranked 10th. So yeah, he can place for sure.
Hey, I really like Peyton Hall was at 12. How is he going to fit? So he's in the Big 12. So he's going to wrestle Keegan and Whitlake again, probably, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He'll have his chances, but those guys they're in a different strategy.
Luke Weber's lost to the UNI kid. UNI, I watched that dude. They look really good against NDSU. They kind of gave him the business.
They're pretty sassy, those Panthers.
Yeah. Peyton Hall is 17-1. Good record.
What'd you say?
Peyton Hall is 17-1 right now.
That is a good record. Do you put Hamidi in the title contender? I mean, I don't know if you can.
Let's just wait.
We're talking about it's a question between him and Marinelli now.
It is it's a question. That's gonna be a match. I'll say it. Yeah, he's in the mix. He's in the mix. All right. I think we gotta go. It's 9:46, Steve in the heart of Texas. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Ben.
Shout out to my home state, my homeland of Iowa for sanctioning girls wrestling.
About to say that. You beat me to it.
There we go.
Very big news.
Wisconsin's first one this weekend, maybe, coming up.
Yes. Good stuff. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back tomorrow with Shane Sparks talking more wrestling. Such a fun week in wrestling. It's Iowa Penn State week. You can't beat that with a stick. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy Tuesday. Goodbye.